And the Monkey King does kind of preempt that, as Monkey is it's a 50-50 matchup versus the Lycan, as Lycan can't fight you in the ring, but you can't fight the Monkey. I feel like if they really wanted, they just drop the Lycan here.
Yeah, it feels like a relatively safe pick. There's light disable on the side of unknown for it, but it is, like you said, it is a classic, and this is one of those games that would definitely fit in for it.
And it's a rough lane versus the Timbersaw, but at the end of the day, you burn his mana, you get the Necros, and Line and Dying just don't do anything versus it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably what they're considering, whether or not to slam the safe laner here or instead trying to pick up Ray Release's hero. And I mean, Quap is still in the pool. That's one of his that's his second hero, as a lot of people would say. As DogChamp really, they don't have a small hero pool. They just have heroes they definitely prefer over any other in the game.
Yeah, well, that's like Thompson. Thompson has very specific heroes that he's really good at, and then he just has his god heroes. That's
Well,
not a
and
really good sample size to pull from. No, that's not
yeah,
the best person to be like, oh well, there's this guy. You know, the guy
at the
who's won
same
two
time,
TIs in a row.
Troll is still in the pool, but so that's what they were thinking about. Okay.
I think it might be because it's another good hero that's against the Timbersaw in a team fight, and it makes it to where the Monkey King actually can't run away as much as long as possible there, because it's Monkey King running away is kind of like the big thing for his disengagement. Like he just tree dances up, down, left, and right.
Well, and its vision for the Monkey King, it's very nice versus the Timbersaw versus just because he's always going to be low, he's always going to be regenning up, and it is a hero that lanes versus the Timbersaw, whereas the Lycan, I was suggesting, doesn't really lane versus the Timbersaw. He kind of tries to outmaneuver it, and things can definitely get scary. But Bloodseeker, it's one of these heroes that we've seen valued, we've seen picked, but hasn't really been successful so far. And I wonder if we're going to see some Medusa ban, some Medusa priority, as that's usually the hero we've seen to either play with or play against it, because it's a safe laner that runs out of damage. And if you're not too careful, if you're not able to spiral the game in your favor, then the Bloodseeker has felt, I think, relatively useless in some situations where it doesn't get off the ground.
10 seconds remaining.
But is that something that you're gonna really be able to run? Like, are you gonna run then your Monkey King mid and then have Medusa be the slop? Because it's
And they
just
could,
you have
just
the
because
counter.
they do have last pick, right?
Right.
You do get to counter pick them. You do get to see the
Oh, I didn't
lanes.
see that part. Good
But
point.
RoboZ, you are right. RoboZ and Burna. The thing is, Monkey doesn't feel like a Burna hero. We've seen him play over the past couple days. He plays these massive heroes, and I feel like if DogChamp don't ban Medusa here, that's the Burna hero that I feel is coming. But they think they need a mid. They think RoboZ is the hero on unknown that they don't know yet. Yep, and there's the Quap ban.
And immediately DogChamp will take the Shadow Fiend.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Well, now this is a forcing move. This forces the Monkey King to not be mid. This forces the Timbersaw to not be mid. This removes a lot of flexibility out of Unknown's draft, as now they need to pick a hero that can lane versus the Shadow Fiend. And I mean, they could try and stretch for the Leshrac, but it doesn't feel great. I'm trying to think now, and they've got a minute and 15 seconds left, so they can really piece this together. But interesting, Shadow Fiend. It gets rid of a lot of RoboZ's heroes. It takes out the Void Spirit. It takes out the Kunkka. A lot of stuff he's played previously.
Yeah, it kind of just leaves it up to some sort of unique mid pick. And I mean, they've got a lot of the more unique ones kind of let out. They've banned the Storm themselves. The Viper's gone. The Queen's out. Like, they banned out some of these mids that were good against DogChamp, and it just felt like a free open thing for Shadow Fiend, because Queen is one of those heroes that can put up adequate contest onto Shadow Fiend. And I mean, you still have the Death Prophet, but even DP doesn't do that well.
No, yeah, you don't want to be doing that versus the SF, and taking out this bat was a really good ban. That's one of the few heroes that really would have been able to run over SF, and now Unknown, I mean, they're really grinding their brains here. They need to figure out something, because you can't really run the Lina mid anymore. You can't run the OD in this lane either. It's an interesting position they've been put in.
I mean, they're taking their sweet time to figure out how to answer this interesting position. That, or they're just doing the thing that I learned very recently.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is a kind of pick where it's you can't really win or lose. He's just kind of gonna be there, because it's not it's not the best answer. You can't really contest Shadow Fiend's farming capability as an invoker, but you are able to do so if you get rotations. The only problem is that Undying doesn't feel like that good of one of those rotating heroes. It's going to have to be Wish almost consistently to rotate mid.
And that is something he's gonna need to be careful about. He's going to need to contend with because at the same time, Yarn, B9, they are very good if they're set up, but if nobody's behind that SF, the burst that'll come out is very fast. And there'll be a lot of situations where if he gets hit by that tornado, Ray will be in a lot of trouble. And the Quasflex Invoker is pretty nice versus the Shadow Fiend, where you're going to be taking away his mana. If he lets you take away too much of his mana, then Rayu's farm will start to suffer, but again, this is a comfort hero. This is exactly how DogChamp like to play. We see that they've drafted a little bit more team fight this time around, but it's so important, I think, for DogChamp to win their lanes. As it might be a morale thing, might be a game plan thing, but it feels like whenever they don't do well in their lanes, it's just way harder for them to eke out a win.
Well, maybe in this game it will line up differently for them. Laning phase is the most important thing, and I mean, I feel like it is going to be a big based on the lane game phase. I mean, this isn't much. It won't be ending up like last game where there was like one hero that is literally uncontested. It feels like the lanes are going to be quite even the whole entire time. Gotta love them all chats right off the very beginning here. This is one of my favorite Timber ones for sure.
Well, and it's a little bit scary. Always playing versus this Timbersaw, he always makes these rotations to that mid tower, always after he claims his own tower. And at that point, I think it's going to be, as we've seen before, up to Lukey. And even more so with this Dark Will, it's really all up to him to be the catalyst to start these fights. Whereas Unknown has sort of drafted the anti team fight lineup where they have this Undying, they have this line. It's more about breaking up DogChamp's initiation than it is about starting their own. And once they get items, I think it's going to be difficult for Unknown to not take a lot of the map. I think DogChamp's ability to defend towers is a little bit it's just not very strong. Yeah.
It's a little dog.
It's a little dog.
Yeah, it's not. They don't really have great tower response, great tower defense. I mean, you don't want to be TPing your Shadow Fiend around. That is the downside to this Shadow Fiend pickup, is that Shadow Fiend isn't one of those heroes that rotates very early to try to confirm any kills in alternate lanes. He kind of likes to stay in his lane, farming both like the mid area and then walking over, getting the side camp, and then maybe walking up the hill and getting one of the hard camps and stack ancients, or just going to the left area and farming over in the other triangle connector area here. Like Shadow Fiend isn't really a fan of just walking around.
Well, and while this is a Ray Luisa specialty hero, this is one of his best. There's a reason why it's not picked as much nowadays, and it's just the unreliability where you can't ever afford to have a bad game on Shadow Fiend, and there are just a lot of factors in Dota that you can't necessarily control. You know, you get too many Mud Golem camps, you don't get the rune, you get a lot of things swept out from underneath you, and you see he's going for the only SF build available nowadays, just going immediately into that Yules, and depending on how this lane goes, it's just such a swingy hero. And I think that kind of sums up the way DogChamp play in its own, where if they get enough out of the lanes, and they can snowball to a win, and sometimes it just looks easy for them, and other times it just feels so difficult out of those laning phases.
And it's just going back to the original statement, the laning phase is everything. We're kind of back into that meta where like the laning phase kind of dictates the whole entire gravity of the game. The only way that really changes is if just everything starts going south. And yeah, going back to the original statement, Shadow Fiend needs a good lane. And Unknown have really great heroes to rotate around to this mid lane very early that will do that. But the form of really great heroes is really just in the Lion here. But Lion is honestly just insane when it comes to rotating very early.
And knowing where Widges is going to be a big part of this map, because at the same time, you're right, it is really going to be DogChamp trying to find a fight and then Unknown responding to it. And depending on how strong that response is, how appropriate it is, I think Unknown do have the tools to definitely fight back. But this is one of our most even matchups going forward. It looks like they're trying to get something out of the lanes. Oh, Yarn's just scouting for the ward.
He does actually get hit, so he knows that there is a ward here of some sort.
He's going
The
to take a
tower
lot
would
of
not
damage
have hit him
for it.
otherwise. Yeah.
Actually, Prada has boots. If he wanted to, he could push the envelope, but we'll be fine just chilling.
I mean, he already puts him down to half, but he'll get a little bit of that back with the 4 strength return after some time. But yeah, boots first, very aggressive build for Prada. Usually it's either you go like you build boots first and you just go for the spare regen, or it's the like 7 mangoes and like 3 clarities and a windlace. Build is flexible. Yaren, however, life is not a very flexible resource, as he is getting quite low in that.
Yeah, and Prada's playing this perfectly. He's so obnoxious. He's just running at Yarn, and there's not much he can do, and he's getting the strength from the Willow, and then just coming and beating into Luki. And versus Monkey King, they're gonna need a few more levels before anything aggressive can happen, but Prada's playing this very well.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you gotta do. And Undying is just this kind of hero that does that. But the only problem is, as soon as Prada runs out of mana, then this lane kind of runs out of juice.
He will... Oh, he's...
hang on.
Barely.
Might be able to find him, though. I mean, one more right click, he will get the kill. And
He's
he does
kind
have
of
boots first.
faster.
Yeah, well. I'll have to let it go. Witch Doctor, though, in the top lane. Maybe not under the same scenario here. Actually, Jerkiel. It's not going to be low enough, though.
If anything, it's very unfortunate bottom where it was just the one strength tick off where Yarn got, I think, almost 100 HP back just with the decay ticking out. Otherwise, I think he might have fell to that boundless strike. But this lane, Burno's having a very nice time. He has not been too bothered by Luki. He's getting a lot of denies.
Currently stocking the Bloodseeker's HP bar as well, just trying to figure out, like, who out on DogChamp is going to end up falling first is the big question. All these heroes are very low at the very beginning. Unknown, I believe they've expended a good portion of their regen, though. Prada comes in. They do... Well, they were poising to try to make a jump at Yarn here, but looks like Luki's just going to be their choice. They will push him back, but Yarn is actually stuck, but he actually will get the first blow on Yarn, but Jerkiel will fall in the top lane in trade.
It looks like you just got a little bit too forward, just a simple Maledict cask. They've been trying to contest this large camp pull that B9's been going for the past minute or so, and they just got a little bit too low.
And jumping over to the mid lane here, I saw very quickly that RoboZ's HP had diminished quite heavily here, but the CS is also somewhat diminishing, as Raylisa is leading with 5 over the Invoker at 10 and 3.
Dire's courier
He is a very strong laner. It's something that it's always a testament to his skill, where he is able to make these matchups he's supposed to win look very dominant, especially in the early stages. But again, with runes coming up, Dota's not a 1v1. We will see other players mid very soon.
Yep, it's gonna be the rune fight here. I mean, Raylisa is the one that needs it. RoboZ is just really just gonna exist to deny it, more or less. Where is Prada?
Again, top.
Okay, he's TPing back right now. They will be able to find the silence on the Timber Saw, but I mean, trading right clicks, Wish does have a... Actually, no, he doesn't have more damage than B9. But Wish has more HP to work with.
are fortified.
Expending a fort, I believe that might have been for the creeps somewhere. Whose creeps were under immediate threat?
I'm not sure. I think that was the dire for it. I think it was to... You'll see sometimes, oh, Ray guessed wrong on the rune. That's so unfortunate, but you'll see mid laners a lot of the time glyph the creep waves so that way they're not missing out on too much. They glyph the creeps so that way the creeps just aren't dying. They get to stay sort of in equilibrium, and he guessed wrong on the rune. This is quite sad for the SF. He was doing so well.
I mean, it just goes back to the original, not the original statement, more or less, but to how many times we've talked about it, that the rune in the mid is literally what makes the mid a win or lose for somebody. And like you were talking about, Shadow Fiend, he needs every advantage he can get. And it's unfortunate. You can see he's walking back to base, and you don't want to be doing this early. He's not even dead. Speaking of dead, though, they will be finding B9 here. The silence is going to be there to try to zone him out for a little bit.
Perfect.
The stun out from Wish. We'll find 2. Wish able to find the claim. And Creep just unable to really push the envelope there. But back in bot, I was going to say maybe the same possible scenario as they actually throw a tombstone up onto the ward hill.
And it's not even Ray's fault, to go back to that point where even top, Widge wasn't able to make the rotation to even deny that top rune. Let's say if B9 was able to fall, and because Dracul died earlier, it's just simply the luck of the draw, and that's the way she goes sometimes.
That's the way the RNG rumbles.
Nope, this courier is...
Yeah, I don't know why Prada was just trying to hard focus Yaren there. It wasn't really going to be able to get him. But he got
this
it
top
anyway,
lane is so rough for Creep going forward. Now that Drakil's gotten the space he needs, it's really just that level 2 and reactive and having both spells. B9 is getting his attributes back. He did take 2 Whirling Deaths, but it's always scary, especially with the Lion just not showing. He's always waiting in the wings.
And the stun range actually on the blind cast for the Earth Spike is much longer, and it's very scary. It's something you can't really account for if you do the blind cast.
Oh, RoboZ, he guessed wrong again. Ray's not getting the rune just because he's not going to the top spot.
Drakil. Oh, he does get hit by the silence at the last second, and he will go and tick down from B9. But yeah, going back to mid. Again, rune just not being guessed in the right spot. Relisa just not having a great time. This time he can't afford to leave and refill the bottle, though.
Oh,
it might be refilled in the form of Mars TPing back, though. Back in bot, though. Yaren will be going down. Unable to break the tombstone in time as well. We'll just go down to Burna, and you just can't be throwing these kills to Unknown here. Their mid's not... I mean, DogChamp's mid is not having a great time. And he is actually walking back. Oh, no.
It's not the same rotating hero. He might be trying to... Yeah, he's stacking for himself, and then there's no opportunity. Because of the way the side lanes were set up for themselves, we're not seeing that 4 able to TP and refill his bottle, and he's going to have a clarity going, is going to regen a little bit up, but RoboZ's been able to pull back this lane completely, and with the urn, they're going to look for kills.
Yeah, up in the top lane, though, Wish putting some pressure on the B9 here, but the rest of Unknown are rotating in.
They get Creep.
He's ready. Yeah, he wants these urn charges as soon as possible. He might be walking on a sentry relatively soon here. And the creeps will give him vision of it.
Oh, Creep.
But it's still not enough. Creep is going to be in trouble here. The cold snap not even needed. EMP will be thrown. And these urn charges will be collected. And now the cold snap combo is available. And they're going to get this free tower. They keep this card alive. And there is nothing that DogChamp can do about this right now. In fact, B9 might be in trouble still. Earth Spike is in range.
Well, Drakil's not 6, but
I mean, he needs the mana drain if he wants to get the
the
Hex.
cask.
Cask goes out. They are putting as much as they can. The Hex is there. And they're saving the stun, actually, and they find a good combo stun here. 4 wand charges, and the Hex is available, and very soon here, trying to kill the Tombstone. And they will end up doing it, but Creep did rotate in, but Drakil jumping to the low ground there. Stop moving in the base, Drakil. I could see your HP ticking down. And yet again, Yaren's courier will get clipped, but Wish will likely fall here as he's trying to buy as much time as humanly possible. But soon we'll run into the Shadow.
During this entire engagement, RoboZ just claimed the tower. They gave up.
No.
Wait.
No.
Okay, Luki's got it. Luki's got it. But
yeah,
still, this is dragging every hero that was playing versus Burna. This is 2 cores killing Widge at the tier 3 tower. They're not farming. They're not doing anything. And this can't feel good if you're DogChamp.
Yeah, they spent way too much time trying to do that, and like their mid tower is, I mean, I don't want to say it's practically gone, but I mean, that's at full HP actually. What am I talking about? Oh, wait. No. This is an interesting pause because I just jumped mid and the cold snap went out immediately onto Dark Willow with a tornado.
If he gets the urn off, I believe he's dead, because even if he Shadow Realms, he's going to take that additional tick for every cold snap, but otherwise, I think maybe Yaren just smashed it. Maybe you hear the W. You can hear him smashing his keyboard on his microphone, but still, I feel like they're getting so much out of the lanes. Unknown's rotations have just been so clean, and it really stems back to the draft for me, but let's see Yaren.
Yep, lift up, EMP. Actually, he doesn't earn him, but the EMP does do a sustainable amount of damage. The Illusion's unable to find the chase. Sunstrike, not spec'd. We will be able to walk out of that one. Ooh, can't wait to hear about how hot chat thinks that pause was. That's going to be a chat one for sure.
The problem as well. Luki, who TP'd in to guarantee the kill on Widge, I mean, now they're just getting B9 for free.
Yeah, not much they can really do about that. They do rotate in Luki. They will find Widge, but yeah, he'll be all right, actually. He's got the stun and the Hex available. He could turn this around. Hex not up, actually. I lied about that one. And Luki unable to find a trade. Wiz actually going to get healed up by the clap. Good old Prada there. That's what I like to call Soul Rip.
And this is the issue. You give him stacks again, and this is the problem with that rotation top to kill Widge is just you can never go back to the lane that the monkey's in. You're going to need to bring Ray in. Yep. Oh, no. If he gets fingered.
Well, the finger is available if they want to turn it, but they do TP in B9. Berna, he is going to get hit, but there goes the finger. And now Berna has to start the TP out. The EMP will go out. B9 is going to go down. They're trying to kill the tombstone. They will get it, and Widge, likely caught on the back lines here. He does have a stun going out on him now, so going to be in trouble there. But the Yule's revealed on Ray Lisa. They will be able to get the kill on Prada as well as Widge in the eventual future. No, they do. He does deny this bounty rune here. Just he's buying so much time still. This is the best part about Unknown's heroes is that even if they end up going down like this, they bought so much time for this, and your Timbersaw is still free farming alternate lanes.
In this haste rune, it's the first one that Ray's been able to get, and now that he has his Yules, he can look to sort of make back a lot of the time that he hasn't gotten because this bottle was just empty for so much of the game, and getting the Fairy Trinket helps a lot as well, but if they're able to build, I mean, you've already got the pipe, the Hood of Defiance coming out on Drakeel. It just feels like it might be a little bit too slow. They really need to get something, a smoke going, some sort of play, and I hope we see Luki queuing up the Blink Dagger soon, because that's the game it feels like we're barreling towards. It's just a game where if DogChamp don't find a little bit of momentum, then Unknown are going to be very happy with any of the rotations coming in.
It looks like the phase
this
boost
mid tower
first. Oh, Cold Snap, EMP. That's his own personal Yules, but Berna could just follow up with the stun, and the follow-up stun from Wiz as well. You see that B9's hanging out on the sidelines here. He might have been trying to make an aggressive jump here, but the arena will be dedicated. They will find this kill on Wiz this time. The fear will be thrown. It lands on one Wiz. I guess I'm wrong, actually. They don't find the kill on Wiz again, and Yaren dies on the sidelines here. You see Creep will go ahead and throw out a silence, but it doesn't land on anybody. B9 goes down. Drakeel does get ruptured, though, which deals a lot of damage here, but he's sitting at 12 stacks and 3 wand charges. Tornado goes through. The heal there from Prada as well. The stun out immediately. Creep getting really low, but he's got a lot of move speed. But the Spirit Vessel, he's dead. He had Blood Rage on him as well, so he's just going to straight die to this one. That's a 5-man team wipe. Sunstrike being dedicated, not needed. And they get it. That's a 5-man team wipe. Invoker indeed has a Spirit Vessel.
And it's just all of the timings are just so strong. They covered each other so well on Unknown, and that's the strength of this lineup. That's the strength of this Undying, where that burst damage, all of that great burst coming out from DogChamp that really just is the Mars. He couldn't even get the kill on Widge just because it was slightly missed. That Tombstone, nobody was hitting it, and it just feels like everything is going Unknown's way right now. It really feels like they could do whatever they want in this game, and it'd be all right. They need to sync up. They need to find something with this. He's just trying to get a BKB on Ray, but it feels so difficult for them to make plays. Even Creep, he hasn't been able to do anything with this Rupture pretty much the entire game. Both Ruptures have both been on the Timbersaw, and he just TPs away, or just gets healed up from Prada.
Well, it looks like Dog are reading the same thing that you're throwing. They smoke up immediately, but there's nobody down here. There's not a single soul in the Radiant jungle because they have this map domination. The mid tower's gone, the top tower's gone. They have their jungle dominated.
These are some very key wards getting out from B9, so they will be able to kind of eke out and play down here, especially once they get this tower. But that's just a place for Creep to farm, and as soon as they see Drakeel, he's going to eye into the jungle top and see that no one's home. Then they're going to know exactly where they are. And
fingered immediately.
Yeah, it's just a freebie, just another free one, and you see at the same time Unknown's getting down their own vision, and it just feels like Unknown they're not having to cut any corners, whereas DogChamp, it feels very rough. 4 heroes hitting the spot T1 13 minutes into the game. It doesn't feel great to have all 3 cores this early together.
Yeah, there's not really much they could get. And they got no kills with the smoke. They lost B9 off that, and I mean, you're trading all of this map domination for your possible tier 2 damage here. I mean, all of Unknown's heroes are top at the moment. All of them. Like, Ray Lisa is currently the only one that's really down here in the spot lane that can apply some pressure to this tower, but I mean, they ran 4 heroes at a tier 1 this late in the game, and we're running 4 heroes at a tier 2 this early into the game. 14 minutes is a very early kill for a tower.
and it's before the 20-minute mark. They can get that outpost and continue to snowball.
dying.
In fact, it's just Prada. Yeah, he's just poking. He's prodding, as some would say, and he's just trying to get a reaction out of DogChamp because he wants them to fight. If they fight, they know that they're going to win it, so they want to fight as much as possible. But instead, they might get him.
Out. Yeah, Prada. Oh, he actually gets the cold snap immediately out onto B9, so it cancels the death ward. However, there's a lot of burn damage out onto Prada here. I don't know if there's enough for the heal, though. He's burning away to Maledict. He's actually fine, but they do find the kill on B9, and immediately Burna comes in with a follow-up stun from Wiz, and they will find this double kill. They want more. They're looking for some. They find Seeker for a split second, but Creep's got the thirst move speed. He's out of there.
And time again, we see with these really good teams, Prada knows exactly what he's doing. He's baiting them. He knows that DogChamp want a free kill. They want to get away with it. Oh, they can't get
Drakil's still not done. He doesn't have the Yules, though, so they can't get that set up. But, I mean, you could see the rest of Unknown's heroes. They are actually in the triangle right now if they want to go for creep. You see that Prada is actually pinging it as well, but they're not going to. They will rupture Drakil. But again, there's nothing they do about it. Well, I say that, though. They will get him as well as dedicating the fear. They will find Yaren on the sidelines. Drakil, he's in such a tactical spot. He's perfectly fine. He didn't have thirst or anything. And Yaren just dies for free.
And now all of it's going to reset. Again, they're just prodding. They're trying to get DogChamp to fight them. If they really committed for that Timbersaw kill, they would have all died. And again, it just feels like Unknown are getting every reaction they want. And once Drakil gets these stacks up, I mean, another tier 2 is going to fall pre-20 minutes. And you see, they're just giving it up. They know that they can't fight. They don't have any of their ultimates.
I mean, there's not much you could really do to even contest. As if Burna walks in, anybody else is around the area, Alacrity will just rip right through him. And you could see Burna, he's got this Ags queued up. He is so confident in his game right now. However, the Courier might get clipped. They find Pradas. Timbersaw will get to him, but Lukey... very precarious spot here. The tornado goes through, and he sidestepped into it, though. He gets cold snap. The arena goes down, and it's going to actually find nothing. However, they will get another Courier, but the finger will go out, giving Wiz yet another stack here, and they're not done. Ray Elisa's floating around, and the Monkey King is currently invis from the mid rune, so he's going to grab this bounty rune in front of Ray Elisa's face.
Ray.
And Burna, he's going to see it in the river. He's ready for him. He throws down the Boundless Strike, and Ray Elisa's going to go down as well. The cold snap to confirm. And Burna's got to get it. Like, this is insane. Your Shadow Fiend, it has to be an easy game for him, and it's just not that at all. Relisa is having the hardest game he possibly could. Oh, they're not done.
Oh, no,
Wish, he comes in mid. He finds Creep. The stun goes through. The NATO with the EMP follow-up. The cold snap. Everything else is there. They will throw out the fear. It lands on 2, and the Bramble landing on Drakil, but it's just not enough. There's nothing that's going to come of it.
And none of this even matters. They think that they're comfortable. They want to be in this vision. They have 3 fantastic wards bottom, but they know exactly what's happening, and they're still getting caught in such a fashion. And now they're getting the objectives. Now he's already has the Ags on Monkey King, and now he's going to have an Aegis on top of it. There's an Orchid on Robo Z. The cores on Unknown are just falling out of control.
Yeah, this is... I remember we talked about it like during the beginning of the game and a little bit in our little break, and we were saying that DogChamp Unknown, this felt like this was going to be one of those series where it was a kind of even layout of a game. But I mean, just seeing this game number 1 and saying what I said before, it doesn't really seem like that is the case. It doesn't feel it's terribly one-sided. Obviously, crazier things have happened, but I don't know how you end up killing this Monkey King. He's just wailing into you every second of the way he can, and it's just... He's got Aegis. I mean, you're seeing Arena being dedicated to try to kill supports, and they still keep missing.
And you see Yaren in the mid wave. He's just cutting the creep wave. I saw 3 triangles walking towards those waves to try and do anything, and maybe they try to make a play on Drakil.
Yeah, they do have the ult out.
They've got
Actually, yeah, they got him. They drop everything for him.
But still, they all need to get out.
Yeah,
they need
Prada
to run.
comes in. There is no way to stop this Dark Realm teleport, and you do see that Relisa will be traded off indefinitely in the Hex to go off on the sidelines. Robo Z will fall. Silence being revealed, and, well, Witch Doctor's dead as well.
And
more
it would have been
charges
great
for the
if
vacuum.
they got... Yeah, and this is just going to continue to happen. Well, Timber was probably the only core that they could have done that to. continuously, DogChamp are going to have to keep throwing themselves at the wall until Luki gets this blink, until Creep gets this BKB, and even then, they need a god fight where they're going to be able to kite everything out of Unknown. They need to somehow get the gas out of them, but I don't even know how they kill Tombstone at this stage of the game. There's just no one to stand up and be their one true hero for DogChamp, and it just feels like a methodical game from Unknown.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend just doesn't have enough attack speed to really deal with it. I mean, we've been seeing Mars Arenas go out. They can make a well-timed Mars Arena do the same. I mean, they need to pick supports off too. Like, Wish is just finding everything with all of his spells. Like, it's not just the game of the... Actually, I just realized Wiz has a Possessed Mask as well. But it's just it's an extremely strong game for these supports. They have the best disables for the heroes that hate being disabled for a long duration of time. And it's just... The hexes are coming out perfectly. The stuns are latching on more than one hero every fight. And it's just stopping DogChamp in their tracks. And I don't know where they could find these tracks to pick back up. And you see already, RoboZ, he throws out the NATO, the EMP not needed, but they are just going to burn into Luki. He dies instantly.
And we see time and time again that getting onto these supports, or even in the Undying series, where every single fight, some core would try and jump Moonmare, they would try to jump the Shaman, and it's almost the same with this Lion, where you're not getting on top of him. You have these 3 heroes that are just so farmed on Unknown that, I mean, they could just pop high ground right now. They've got the Ags, they have the Aegis. I really don't know how you respond.
You don't. You can't. Yeah. You can literally see that the Shadow Fiend is elsewhere, trying to farm maybe Triangle, maybe looping back on some couriers on the way back there, but Shadow Fiend can't do anything about this. Burna, though, playing a little bit prideful here. Will end up getting hit with the Maledict, but this Aegis is still kicking for a long time here. BKB expended, though. They do know they will go for this Invoker, and that's one kill they can obtain. And now Unknown, a little bit scrapped up here. Burna, looking to pop the ultimate. Drakeel, though, is going to be hit with the Ravage. Yarn's going to buy back immediately. They are going to look for the Bloodseeker. Seeker is going to hit the floor. Creep dies, and still, this Aegis lives, and Drakeel is just like, ah, look at me go. I'm bleeding. But not really, but they are going to look for Burna here. He's getting low, but the spear is going to whiff. They will find the first life on Burna, though, as the Maledict ticked will take him down, but you expended so much, and the Monkey King's first life is dead. He still has Ring. They want to keep going. They want to take this tower. They want it bad. He starts pumping the Ring. Yules is going to go. No. The counter Yules, though. Burna throws the Ring, and I mean, that's just a dead Luki again. That's not a dieback, though. He still has his buyback. It's just the supports that have died back. But Unknown, you see, you got all these extra monkey chakrams from the Aghanim Scepter, and it's just wailing into your racks. Burna doesn't have a lot of damage, but there's about 100 plus, not 100 plus, but there's enough monkey chakrams here. This Rax is dead.
And Prada just makes this hero look so broken. He just makes it look so disgusting. You can't do anything. He's got 3,000 HP when he pops his ultimate. He has the Holy Locket already. It's just this mass mob where I don't think DogChamp can really do anything at this point. And now I think what doesn't even have BKB yet on crit or on creep. And that was your picture-perfect fight. You started the fight with RoboZ being taken out. Now he can just sit here. Oh no, Luki.
Snap, NATO, B9, Luki as well, though, is going to be the one to fall. Silence is going to be there. B9 can't really engage. He's got no HP to work with. Sunstrike will whiff. But this is a dead tower. Likely at least a Rex.
And Ray was able to get a Blink Dagger. That was his farm. And Burna, but he has a BKB. It's too late. There's nothing you can do versus this monkey now. I think we're going to see the G's drop very soon.
B9, he's throwing down the ward, but it's not going to find anything in Burna. He's going to get hit with the Rupture, but like you said, he's got this BKB, and he can just pour into Ray as he's doing, as we see here. RoboZ does die again, but Ray Lisa has to flee, but no fleeing available here as the finger will go out and find this kill. Luki throws the arena, but the blink from Wish, he's out of there. There's the laugh as well. He wants to go for Yara, and they will find this kill. Luki will go ahead and spear Timber to the building here, but they are just turning immediately onto Creep. He'll throw his BKB out, which will slow down this aggression, but Luki getting slowed just every way he can. Casket gets thrown out. There's no death ward available for another 37 seconds. They're going to go fountain killing, boys. They find B9. And they find so many kills with this. And still, Burna. This BKB will be up in 15 seconds, and there's nothing they are going to be able to do about this one.
No, they're just gonna watch as they get megas. I don't think they're gonna GG out either. This was just a very unfortunate set of events for Team DogChamp. This Unknown played so disgustingly well this game.
Oh, and they're tipping. They're going to throw out their friendly tips, though. It's not going to be the BM Sunstrike. Out on Raylisa, he is slow. Very slow. Mucho slow, boy. But,
And
I mean,
5 alive. They're AFK in the fountain. They're not gonna call it. They're gonna make.
There it
There we
is.
go. Finally.
Yarn will drop the GG, and he'll be also the first one to disconnect here as Burna will pump his arena and throw it out inside of the pit. Not able to get any outro kills, but it's going to be 34-8 with 25-minute cave for Team Unknown. We'll take the first game of the series.
And it really just goes back. I knew this was gonna happen. So much was said before the game that ended up being true, and there was some fantastic individual performances coming out of Team Unknown, mainly being RoboZ, Widge. They played so well, and then even Prada 3-1 and 27. This was probably the best Undying performance I've seen in Dota in the past maybe 2-3 months, where he was everywhere he needed to be. He never fed. He never died. He was always in a dominant position. He made the hero look broken. He made it look like DogChamp never had enough damage or enough sustain to pull anything together. And at the same time, Luki wasn't able to find anything. He was the one hero that DogChamp really needed to accelerate the game. He was only ever able to find one kill at the end of the day that he was able to participate in, where he just wasn't able to find a game on the Mars in a draft where he's the linchpin, he's the key hero, and especially picking the Shadow Fiend, where, of course, he was doing great versus RoboZ, but time and time again, you can't play this mid matchup in that way. Dota's evolved past this point where you can just go 1v1 versus this Invoker and say, I'm going to have a great game. We're just not at that stage right now.
And it's kind of just going back to the very beginning, is that you can't really losing lanes, and Shadow Fiend isn't ready, like you're saying, to kind of come back to that right now. More so as Invoker is pretty strong against that. And I believe, no, Invoker was the last pick.
Yes,
so
Invoker
they could have picked a different mid that doesn't have such a relies on winning the lane indefinitely in order to be successful in the game. Because I mean, you could kind of just look at their rotating heroes they had. Although I don't think they even really, no, the supports actually didn't even go mid on Unknown. They just killed everybody else everywhere else.
No, precisely. It's pure unlucky. I'm sure after this game, they're going to clear their heads. DogChamp probably going to have a better showing in game 2, where just literally every single time Ray didn't get the 4, the 6, or the 8-minute rune because it didn't spawn where he guessed. And that's as simple as it is.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a best of 2 game that we have going on here. The Team Unknown will take game number 1. Will Team DogChamp be able to take game number 2? Will they be able to hopefully guess any of the 3 runes in the right way? Or, just maybe not have a rune-reliant hero into the next game? The only way to find out is by staying tuned, as the next game will be right around the corner.